Welcome back for day 2. On day 1, we solve the big mistake that everybody makes when they work with horses, and that's approaching horse as a human doing, not a human being. We did that through the 2 B's of intention, which stands for breathing to being. We used box breathing for our first example, and I hope you really enjoyed that. We also talked about self-introspective journaling to think about intention. We always want to have an intention when we start with horses. So that's an exercise to help cultivate your intention for every day. The next big mistake everybody makes is not knowing exactly how to first approach the horse, and then after that, knowing exactly the best technique to start with when it comes to body work. We're going to show you both of those today.
Yeah, the way you approach really sets the tone for the rest of the session. So it's really important. It's kind of like first impressions.
So before you try to put hands on the horse, there are just a few things to have in your mind, almost like a mantra. I want you to think about having soft eyes. Don't gaze and focus through your focal vision. Think about more peripheral vision. That takes you out of a predator stare and a predator energy and more into a helper, healer, partnership energy. The next thing you want to do is anytime you touch a horse throughout your whole process, your hands should always be soft. I see a lot of people try to use stiff fingers or harder hands. People over the years tell me that it must be great for me to work with horses because I'm taller and I'm strong. I kind of chuckle because I've worked on humans for over 20 years and people are a lot harder to work on than horses. It actually takes a very soft, light, intentional touch with horses. That's why you don't have to be big, you don't have to be strong, you don't have to be young, any of that stuff. Anybody can do this work. The other quality of mind when you're working with horses is to just have a curious mind. Be completely curious, no matter what you think you know, what your past experience has been with that particular horse. Embrace that concept of beginner's mind. Be curious first of all. Always be curious.
And then along with having a curious mind, the question you could ask would be, how can I help you today? And it's when you come to the horse with that sort of service mindset that I'm here to help you, they feel that. They really, really do. That's something that the horse will tune into right away, and they will start telling you exactly how to help them if you're paying close enough attention.
Another exercise that's really powerful that we teach in our mentorship group that you can apply is called silent and half speed. When doing sessions with horses, people get really chatty around. They want to talk about this, they want to talk about that. And we really encourage you to not say anything, to try to not talk. That's puts you on the level of the horse, the nonverbal communication. It helps you stay attuned, it helps you focus on the horse, it helps you use your attention. So it's very important to try to be as quiet as possible. And then the other thing is humans tend to move really fast, especially when we get nervous, especially if we're a little anxietal, and especially if we're self-conscious. And nervousness, anxiety, and self-consciousness are 3 qualities that people tend to feel when they work around horses, especially until you feel like you really understand their language and culture.
And because horses will totally mirror what we're putting out, that is exactly how the horse will start to relate and move and interact with us as well.
Exactly. So stay quiet, move slowly, stay curious, and have that thought in your mind of how can I help you today? Soft eyes, have a soft hand. That's your checklist before you start working with horses. Okay, so now we're finally getting to the place where we can approach the horse. We've done all of our prep work, we've thought about all the things. One of the first things I do is I always approach a horse softly with a soft eye, no hard gaze, at the withers. I would do that by coming up, and then it's also good to turn your body sideways so that you're not just facing the horse, going right at them. So turn your body sideways. Usually they'll check you out when you're here, so I'll put out a flat hand and let them smell my hand, and with a soft hand just approach their withers. Couple of things here. Some people do this because they're trying to be careful and they're trying to be respectful of the horse. It might make the horse feel like you're trying to sneak up on it. So, but you also don't want to come in really quick. So we're finding the middle ground. So you come in with a soft, intentional energy, turn your body to the side, and then just with a soft, stable hand, just put your hand right on their withers like this. And Ezra already knows me, so he's not going to turn around and smell, but if he were, just have your hand out, let him check you out.
It's a conversation you're starting to have with them. It's not like you're just going to come in and do the body work on the horse. It's really a dance, a dialogue. Some reciprocity has to be present in order for this to work the way we'd like it to work. When Josh comes up to the horse and approaches with his hand on the withers and starts just softly touching and kneading and stroking that area of the horse, it's exactly what Ezra's mama would have done to him when he was a baby. So it's inherently connective, it's inherently nurturing, and it's inherently comforting to the horse right off the bat. So we've come at them with some language and some body language and some touch that feels really good.
It gets a little paradoxical with the horse too, because one of the things that we said is so powerful about body work is that we're showing them that we see them. So we are looking very intently and very closely at their face for expressions. We're looking at their eyes, we're looking at their lips, we're looking for blinks, we're looking for the veins on their muzzle, we're looking for lines on top of the eye. We're looking for all these very subtle cues, and people that haven't been around horses before would have no idea all of the subtlety of expression in a relaxation response of a horse. But while we're looking for that, I'm not staring hardly, I'm keeping a soft eye, just softness. Keep my head down a little bit, just softness. So once you've established rapport and you've gotten the horse comfortable with you being right next to him, like we've gone from being on the periphery of the horse field to going right into the core, because remember, in the heart math research was based off of the energy coming off of the heart, which is right here. So when you stand at the withers, you're also right at the nucleus of the horse field. This first technique that we're going to share with you, we call heart grounding. It's a really useful exercise to connect with the horse, to get your both concentrating together on the same thing. And in this case, that thing that we're going to be concentrating on is our balance. I'm going to put my arm over him and we're just going to shift our weight. It's like a gentle rocking back and forth. And if these are Ezra's legs, I'm going to be watching his leg and see him shift his weight to the right. And as soon as he starts to shift it to the right, we're going to shift it back to the left, right to left. And remember, horses mirror everything in our body. So I'm not going to be pushing him with my body. I'm not going to be using hard hands. What I'm actually going to do is lean my body against his, embrace him with my arm around him, and I am going to initiate the motion from my feet. So I am also going to be shifting my weight from foot to foot. So we're basically doing this dance where in our brain we're doing the same thing. It's a way that you can connect, attune, and get your concentration on the same thing in your body. So the way you do that is you just come in with the horse like this. Remember, it's really important to keep your feet pointed forward, and I point mine just a little bit away from the horse. That way if the horse were to step forward, you don't get stepped on, or if they step backward, you don't get stepped on. Another beautiful thing here is your heart is right next to the horse's. That's why we call it heart grounding, because we start with the heart and then we shift our weight back and forth and we're grounding through the earth together. So again, I just have once I'm in position with my upper body, I just stay here. I'm not using the muscles of my shoulders, I'm not using the muscles of my arms, I'm actually using my legs. So I push from my left leg until I feel him shifting to his right leg, and then I push with my right leg until I feel him shift to his left leg. Sometimes I like to visualize a piece of bamboo. If you've ever been in a bamboo forest, the bamboo sways gently. So as soon as you feel it start tipping one way, you just gently sway it back the other way. You don't want to keep pushing once it starts to go in one direction. So another little thing to do to try to think about is try to have your horse's front legs even, so they're not have one leg in front or one leg behind. It just helps with the balance. If they check you out, just let them check you out. Remember, the main thing is to not be in a hurry. Don't get so focused on just executing your technique that you don't take a moment to let the horse process what's going on. And I'm going to push with my left leg. I feel him sway, and I'm going to come back to the left. There we go. We're getting a nice little rocking. As I do this, you might even try to coordinate your breath. So I might be inhaling on my way over, Exhaling on my way back. Yeah, it's great. There's no set amount of times you do that. I would just say do it several times, especially if the horse feels relaxed. You can keep going. You don't want to do it so long that you lose the horse's attention either. So it's kind of like you're finding that balance point. So that is the heart grounding method. It's one of the best ways to start with the horse. It's a beautiful space to be. Our hearts are right next to each other. You're right at the nucleus of that 50-foot radius of horse field heart coherence energy that HeartMath Institute's measured. It's just a wonderful way to start your session. I've seen students of ours get so attuned and so peaceful that they practically fall asleep doing this. The horse can get really relaxed. There's something very soothing about the rocking motion and the balance. A horse's balance is everything, so it's a way to really help them concentrate on you. Some horses can be really distracted when you start body work, so this helps pull their concentration in. It also pulls our concentration in, and that's one of the definitions of attunement, is we're both really connected through the same intention, through the same concentration. Another really common mistake lots of people make is they want to pet the horse's face. Don't just pet a horse's face when you're especially doing this kind of work.
It's a really sensitive area, and just a little bit of touch in the face is usually plenty. Don't use it up on petting them like a golden retriever.
We've covered a lot so far. We've talked about how to prepare ourselves before we work with horses. We've talked about how to approach the horse, and we've talked about the first technique you can start with horses. The next most important thing, and the third biggest mistake we see lots of people make, is not fully understanding or recognizing a horse's brace response. This is very important in any work you do with horses, and it's one of the reasons that body work is such a great way to understand horses, because you can really tune into this brace response. So you can understand how it feels. A lot of people associate brace with being something very visible, like putting their head up strongly or visibly tense. So what we want to help you understand is how to feel brace that isn't necessarily visible. So we want to help you understand when to feel brace when there doesn't seem like there is brace.
When the head goes up, when the brace is visible, it had to start somewhere, and if we get good at recognizing the origin, the beginnings of that brace when it's more subtle, it's much easier to work through it with the horse. It's much easier to get it to release before it turns into some big behavioral issue.
So after you've approached the horse and done your heart grounding technique, the next thing that we're going to do, which is really going to help you learn this concept of brace, a subtle one that most people miss and don't even know exists, is a technique called relax into roundness. We're going to show you that technique tomorrow on day 3 of the challenge.
It's really the basis of all your advanced work too, whether we're talking about unmounted work or riding. It's the basis of collection. This is a great way to start asking the horse to use their body in this way, to understand how the horse's body works in this way, so that we can later on access a relaxed round frame when we're doing the bulk of our horsemanship practice.
Yeah, exactly. And the other beautiful thing about this is it works in their body's biomechanics, so their body is going to stay more healthy and they're not going to have issues with nerve impingements or pain. They'll be less likely to have injuries.
Yeah, so many of these sort of phantom lameness situations, I think, just originate from forcing horses into roundness, forcing horses into frames, riding them hard into those frames, pushing them into the frames, pulling them into the frames. When we can teach the horse to relax into that round frame, it keeps their bodies healthy, it keeps their minds healthy, keeps our work more harmonious. It's really what it's all about.
So we've learned how to attune our own systems so we can co-regulate with the horse. We've done some introspective journaling to get to the core of our intention. We've learned how to approach the horse correctly, and we've learned the best technique to start. So then we're really going to get into some of the serious stuff, the really therapeutic, deep work is all about coming into this concept of relaxing into roundness. So we're going to show you the first 2 ways to do that and to access that. It's also going to train you how to feel it in a really profound way. And once you feel it, you can never unfeel it.
It's pretty great.
And it's a great gift to give the horses.
Exactly.
So your to-do list for day 2 is to go into the Facebook group and share one thing you learned that you didn't know before and one question you still have. Posting in the Facebook group is how you stay eligible for the gift cards that Horseplay so generously donated for this challenge.
So make your posts so that you can get a gift card.
We're gonna go live again at 5:30 to 6 o'clock tonight. Look in your email for the Zoom link.
Check your spam folder in case you don't see the email.
Yeah, that's the thing too. So look for that. Come join us, bring questions, join us for a discussion, anything you want. It'd be great to see you there. You're also welcome to post anything you want in the Facebook group. We're gonna be checking that constantly. We're here to support you in this process. If you have any questions come up, don't be shy to ask. Remember, curiosity in beginner's mind is one of the most powerful things you can cultivate for connection and attunement with horses. So we'll see you tomorrow for the relax into roundness technique. Congratulations again for showing up, for putting this time to learn these techniques. I really believe these are techniques and methods and just ways of seeing and thinking about horses that will stick with you for the rest of your life. It's a great gift to give yourself, and it's a really great gift to give horses. So thanks for showing up, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 3.
And may the horse be with you.